Can I drive with a check engine light on? It depends on a lot of different things. Check engine light can feel like the car's way of saying something is wrong without telling you what, how serious it is, or whether you're about to make things worse by continuing to drive. So the honest answer is sometimes you can drive with the check engine light on, and sometimes you really shouldn't. The difference comes down to what is the computer detecting? How is the engine running right now? And whether the problem is something that can quietly snowball into expensive damage or a breakdown. So the check engine light, what it really means is that when your CEL, the check engine light in your vehicles, it's telling you that you have a engine computer has detected a fault in something that affects emissions. That's how cleanly your car runs. Fuel and air mixture, ignition, which is your spark, sensors and control systems, sometimes transmission related symptoms. That's definitely on a lot of vehicles, most. Engine misfires and catalyst protection strategies. So it does not automatically mean you're about to be stranded, but it does mean your car has stored diagnostic trouble codes, and it will often freeze frame the data, a snapshot of conditions where the fault occurred. And that information matters because the same light can represent something minor or something that can damage the engine or catalytic converters if ignored. So is it a solid light or is it a flashing light? If the check engine light is solid, a solid check engine light usually indicates a fault that the computer considers non-immediate. Sometimes that may be affecting emissions, performance, efficiency, but it's not necessarily causing instant damage. You may be able to drive short term depending on the symptoms, but you'll still want to get it checked out because non-immediate doesn't mean safe forever. And immediate is the key word in that. I mean, so think about it. It's not immediate, non-immediate, but it doesn't mean a week or two or 5 or 20 later. It means non-immediate. You can get where you're going, but then you need to start figuring out to get your car in now, not stop driving it. Okay. But a flashing CEL, check engine light, is different. On most vehicles, a flashing check engine light might indicate an active misfire, severe enough that it can damage the catalytic converter quickly. Quickly being the key right there. If it's flashing, reduce load immediately and stop driving as soon as it's safe. Continuing to drive can turn a manageable repair into a much bigger one. So the real question is the engine running normally? The light itself is only one piece. The bigger question is how the vehicle is behaving. If your car's driving completely normally, not shaking, not loss of power, no harsh shifts, no overheating, no burning smells, there's a better chance that its lower risk issue, like a sensor reading, is out of range, an evaporative leak, or something intermittent. If you notice any of the following, treat it as a higher risk. So if you have a rough idle or shaking, stumbling, hesitation, or surging, loss of power, especially when accelerating, strong fuel smell or rotten egg odor, loud ticking, knocking you didn't have before, yeah, that would definitely need to stop. Temperature rising, overheating, definitely need to stop. Transmission slipping or harsh shifting, definitely need to stop. Stalling or near stalling at stops. Reduced responsiveness or limp mode. These symptoms suggest the fault isn't just stored in memory, it's affecting real-world operation. So I could really go into, minute, minute-by-minute stuff on this. What I'm really going to go into is, I've seen it, you got to realize, unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember when in 1981 when onboard computers first hit, new cars, and of course the aftermarket didn't see them immediately, and they were really nasty to diagnose. Um, and you would think that many moons later they would be a lot easier to diagnose, and you would think that, but they had one computer. One. Okay. Now a car has 20, 30, 40, 50 onboard modules. Those are computers. And they control so many sensors and, 3, 4 miles of wire inside of your car. Um, and they're located everywhere. I mean, under the hood, under the dash, under your seat, in the trunk. I mean, they're located everywhere. Um, and the sensors are obviously located everywhere. And it's even worse now with we have sensors for lane assist and everything else. I mean, when you're the technology has gotten bluntly out of hand. And when they first came out, they were super hard to diagnose, and then they got easier, but then they keep and the old adage, just because you can doesn't mean you should. But they can, so they are putting so much more stuff into vehicles, government regulations and all of the other stuff. And it's gotten immensely harder, not easier. I mean, think about it. If you line 20, 30, 40 computers up in an office and you got to connect them together and they have to run a building, the building's not moving. It's not vibrating. It's not shaking. It's not, surging forward. It's not going over potholes. But then you have to link them all together with all of the sensors that it takes just to run a building, which is a fraction of what it takes to run a car. I mean, the biggest thing you really got to worry about is the heating and air conditioning in the building. And I got news for you. The heating and air conditioning is just a small portion of what's going on inside of a car. So you just have to keep it in front of your mind that when your check engine light does come on, it's telling you flat out that you need to take care of your car. It's the second largest investment that most people have, and people tend not to take care of it like they should. And they because different companies want to do check engine lights for free as far as pulling a code, then everybody thinks that it should be free when nothing could be further from the truth. Pulling a code means nothing. Most codes will give you a flow chart. It's a chart. It's not a flow, this is what it is. It's a flow chart that you have to go through all of the different testing procedures inside of that flow chart to determine that, you got what's wrong. And just because you determine one thing is wrong doesn't mean that's the only thing that's wrong. It just means that because one thing can definitely affect another thing, can affect another thing, can affect another thing before your check engine light comes on. So you might have to fix that part to find the next part, to find the next part, to find the next part. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And if a check engine light, your engine is burning rich, it can mess up the catalytic converters so fast it's not even funny, and it can fuel wash your cylinders, and it can ruin your motor. If you're running lean, then your engine's going to be running a lot hotter, and you can again ruin your cylinders even easier. So there's a lot of things going on here that most people aren't aware of, and I'm just begging of you. If your check engine light comes on, especially if it's flashing, get it in sooner than later. I don't care if it's flashing or not. Flashing, get it in now. If it's not flashing, get it in as soon as you possibly can. Not when it's convenient, as soon as you possibly can. Stay safe, stay strong.